against Arjun, Erigaisi. And here we go. Anish, he only needs a draw in this game, but can Arjun Erigaisi push for a win? Can we say out of the opening already?
London system. Jovanka, you play this one.
I
winning
do
chances,
play this
winning
one.
attempt?
Yeah, there's plenty of winning chances, but you can see that Anish is ready to kind of shut the game down. He chooses to advance in the centre with his pawns. And again, he's kind of playing the most critical lines, developing the knights. And the big question here is, will he capture the pawn in the middle? If he's feeling very aggressive, he'll develop the queen. Oh. The knight has come out to attack the bishop.
Yeah, this is still well-known stuff. White has a couple of moves here. White can even go and grab a pawn. That has been played recently by some strong players, but this, I think, is the critical move, bringing the dark square bishop into the centre. And there are some tactics there. There's some crazy games that I've seen in the past where Black's pawn went to attack this white bishop in the centre, but no, instead Anish taking a more solid approach. And Arjun trying to explode open the position. Makes sense while the black knight is sitting on the edge of the board. And Jovanka, have there been many games in this variation before? Not
many games, but the games that have been played, they've been really good by highbrow players. We have Danu Dubov playing it with the white pieces, Srinath Narayan, Nihal Sarin, Jumbayev, Sedlak, who is an opening expert on the London system. So, yep, actually, most of those games finished in a draw.
Okay, and pawn capture in the centre of the board looks logical to me. Those games that ended in a draw, was this the move that was chosen?
Yep.
Okay, so Anish has done his homework. We mentioned that the draw would be a decent result for him.
And now I think the most popular move is actually for white to also capture the pawn, the d5 pawn in the middle.
Okay, so Arjun has a few captures to consider. He can take back this pawn that's just moved with his knight, his bishop, or his pawn, but Jovanka mentions the other pawn capture, maybe the critical one.
Yeah.
And Arjun maybe is as well just thrown by Anish's speed. Anish is clearly one of the best prepared players in the world, so he would have looked at this before, and that's maybe a bit unsettling for Arjun.
Obviously, Erigaisi, he is also happy with the draw in this game with 24 points, but he is a teammate of Vidit. They played on, both played on India 1, right, during the Olympiad. So will there be some sort of a team feeling there? Will he really fight hard to win this game to give Vidit chances to qualify?
I don't know the answer to that question, I'll be honest with you.
I have a feeling, though, that the Indian team spirit is very strong.
I think I would say that as well. But, I mean, it's very important to finish well in the standings here. I mean, it means if you have a very high placing, it means you get to choose the tie breaks, the colours of the tie breaks, and you just might have a better pairing system. So I think it's very important to do as well as you can. And if that means defeating Anish, so be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Anish now just looks very calm. It looks like he's maybe just closing his eyes, trying to remember some variations. Arjun taking some time. And yeah, Arjun's had a bit of an up and down tournament. Lots of wins, but also a few losses here and there. He definitely hasn't been playing safety first chess. So I just have a feeling he's trying to cook up something a bit surprising for Anish. Okay, he does go for the main move that you mentioned, Jovanka, the move that has been played before. And, okay, this is new to me, I've got to admit. Has this been Black's main reply, coming out with the queen?
It's quite funny, because there's been like 6 games in the database, and every single one ended with queen takes pawn. And now every single one of those 6 players, they actually developed the light square bishop to attack the queen.
Yeah, makes sense. The black queen is vulnerable. Normally, you don't want to bring her out too early. If she's getting kicked around the board, she is the best piece, the most valuable piece. So anytime she gets attacked, she has to run. That's why we don't want to bring the queen out too early. We lose a lot of time. So, okay, Arjun plays the most natural move.
Oh!
And a novelty.
No, it's not a novelty. No, it's not a novelty.
You got so excited. What happened?
No. It's because, you know, something that had me chuckling away was what King Charles said to Liz Truss after they met again. And he goes, back again, dear, oh dear.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for the moment to say this line, you know, and there you go. The king can turn around to the queen and go, dear, oh dear.
Yeah, so Anish has lost 2 moves with the black queen, but I guess he's cleared up the centre a bit. He's clarified the tension there. We're likely to see either white get an isolated pawn, just like we've seen in 2 games already today, or we're going to see a very symmetrical pawn structure where Erigaisi won't have too many winning chances. I'm guessing here that white usually captures back the pawn in the centre of the board, but
Yep.
a couple of choices there.
And every one of those games, they've picked up the bishop and they've captured the pawn. So they've kept the pawn structure intact.
Yeah. Do we think Arjun, is he freestyling, or is he maybe aware of those previous games, the draws that have happened in this position, and he's just trying to come up with something new to test Anish with? He can kind of play with freedom, right, Arjun?
Feels like a freestyle to me.
OK. He takes with the pawn. Isolated queen's pawn for the 3rd game in a row today.
Yeah.
Featuring Anish, all of it.
But this time, Anish is playing against it.
Yeah. Previous 2 times
Yeah.
with the isolated pawn.
He might be feeling a bit confused. What's this? I'm not used to playing against this pawn.
Is this a novelty, Ivanka?
Well,
Yeah.
You like this, Lawrence?
Well, I mean, I do. I think black is fine, but you've got to tread carefully. Again, a sample line could run knight takes bishop in the middle, but then you give white a bit of initiative, because then after knight takes knight, suddenly the knight is very loose on h5, and bishop b5 check is an annoying threat, so you probably have to bring the knight back to f6. And just to illustrate how bad things can get, after knight f6, let's say bishop b5 check, here you should probably block with the bishop, but let's say you did block with the knight, you run into a standard idea here, the move queen f3. Suddenly, white is threatening the f7 pawn, and if you block it with a move like, say, like queen e7, suddenly it's your b7 pawn that hangs, a move like knight takes d7, bishop takes d7, queen takes b7, and all of a sudden, black is in dire straits. So, of course, Anish far too strong to allow that, but that's the sort of thing that you could see happen with slightly more inexperienced players.
Yeah, and black decides, OK, no time for that. No, normally you want to get rid of the opponent's strong piece. Normally you want to get the bishop pair. That's very long-term factors, but short-term, you need to get castled. So very sensible move. He's 1 move away from safety, Anish. And then that stuff you showed there, Lawrence, it would no longer be relevant. And yeah, I think once he castles, he's got a very healthy position. I don't think he'll be unhappy at all with how the opening's gone, Anish Giri.
All right. 1 game has finished in round 15. It's a draw between Naroditsky and Mamedyarov. Naroditsky is knocked out, but it's been entertaining to follow him in the preliminaries. Mamedyarov, however, he is definitely ready for the knockout stage. He's played fantastic. And if you take a look at the current standings, then Mamedyarov is on 27 points. He could take 2nd place, but if Gukesh and Erigaisi also wins in this round, they will also be on 27 points. And do you think Mamedyarov is the one no one wants to meet in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, I don't think anyone anyone wants to meet him in the tournament in general.
Yeah.
Mamedyarov just on fire. He's checkmated so many of this field already.
Yeah.
Just in the prelims.
Yeah. And Anish Giri, he is also fighting to qualify. With a draw, he's going to be ready, but with a loss, Vidit, if he wins his game against David Anton in this round, then he will qualify. So it is between these two. The bar now slightly over to Anish's side.
Yeah. Wow.
Ooh,
Arjun's
what
going
is that?
all out now. Ivanka, why are
Sorry.
you surprised by that?
That just kind of came out of my mouth. I mean, I just thought he was going to castle to the right. I mean, this is... It's brave, right? I'm going to temper my words and go, yeah, it's bold and unexpected, and I don't think it's going to work out.
It's going to lead to excitement for us, either way.
Yes.
And maybe he's playing the man. Maybe he knows Anish just needs a draw, content with a solid position, and he's saying, nope, it's going to be far from boring, this game. For Arjun, a win, draw, loss, it's basically the same. So castling opposite sides, he wants to attack the black king. But the white king feels the more vulnerable of the two, surely. What do you guys think?
Well, it's if Simon Williams was sitting here, he would be extremely happy with seeing that move. That's exactly the sort of move the Ginger GM would be looking to play. Playing the man, as you said, David, I think is very relevant here because, you know, Anish doesn't particularly love a dogfight, and Arjun is saying, I've qualified, I've got nothing to lose. Let's have a bit of a scuffle. And King B1, and already the move Bishop D7 is kind of it allows White to put the king on B1 easily, and I'm not a massive fan of it. And the bar also demonstrates that. And now, you know, I'm playing G4 next. I'm playing Knight E4 next. I've got all these springy kind of moves as White, and this could easily go wrong for Anish. This is not an easy position to play. You've got to be very precise.
I think you have to also throw caution to the wind if you're playing with the black pieces and just open lines.
Yeah.
Sack pawns.
Yeah.
David is channeling his inner Yovi.
Yeah, and later, I mean, there will be direct lines open towards the White King.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. But again, is this an Anish type of move? Is this what Giri thrives on? Attacking, especially in a situation where he's got half an eye on the tournament standings. Does he really want to be sacrificing pawns, gambling slightly? I have a feeling he's going to play quieter moves, maybe just bring the rook across, maybe just reroute the black knight before it gets hit. Yeah, and like Lawrence says, very natural moves for White. This pawn is stepping forward, gaining time. It's going to step further forward. It's going to maybe even blast open the black king. And also, it's very scary psychologically for Giri that he knows his opponent just doesn't care. His opponent just wants to go at him, wants a fight. Yeah, especially when it's a youngster, especially when it's a really talented one like Erigaisi, when he's in all-out attack mood. It looks like this is kind of a quiet move, just shuffling the king to a side, but it's basically he's fully prepared now to step forward.
Okay, so with the kings on opposite sides, we love that. Is this a game that most likely ends up with a winner?
Yes.
Oh.
I think a draw is very unlikely at this moment. Anish, maybe he'll find a way to swap off some pieces, and there we go. He plays the move I predicted. That's a very Giri type of move, just quiet, slowly improving a piece. Very sensible, but does it hit the essence of the position? Does it suit the needs of Black's pieces? I mean, these guys are still very passive. This one's still offside. And now I'm expecting one of Lawrence's suggestions, either the knight in the centre or the pawn stepping forward.
Is this something you could end up getting in your chess boxing fight, Lawrence?
Who knows? I mean, I've got no idea what chess game I'm going to get with Aman. I would be very happy to get this as White against Aman because, you know, Black is the one that has to play precisely, and when you've got very little time and you're getting punched in the face, it's maybe not that easy. Whereas the White moves come a little bit more naturally. Even the move Bishop G3, I had the corner of my was looking out the corner of my eye, so I'd be more than happy to have this as White in the.
But the bar likes it for Black now, especially after that move.
Yeah, but
It kind of gets in the way of the pawns.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising.
I found it a very, very surprising move because it's almost like a positional move, which, you know, when you've initiated chaos, you don't step, you know, it can be done, but you don't tend to kind of go, hang on a second, let me just look after this piece.
Yeah, that's one thing. Okay, Anish, he is going for it.
Now he goes for my move. I wanted it one move earlier, but okay, you did it. Better late than never.
Yeah, and I was going to say that's one thing that English Grandmaster Nigel Short told me when I was very young. He said opposite side castling positions, no matter what the opening, if kings are on opposite flanks, don't retreat, don't waste time. It's like riding a bike. If you stop pedaling, you might just fall off. So, yeah, it's interesting that Arjun steps back and then Anish comes forward. So it's a bit like a boxing match. One side just trying to kind of keep the status quo, the other side not afraid to try and throw some punches.
yeah, but it might end up being one of those where it's a bit of a slugfest because there are boxing matches where you know, you're trying to look for angles and trying to touch and just outbox your opponent, and then there are other ones where you're both swinging, and this is getting into both swinging territory. Black attacking on the queen side, White looking at the king side. You know, sacrifices very soon become available, but I do like Anish's last move. I'm curious what the correct move here is. It's not coming to me immediately.
Do you get greedy and take a pawn, or do you just run away?
I don't think it's in my DNA to take that pawn. To be honest, that's just against my religion.
So it looks like a free pawn, Lawrence.
Yeah, but I just can't bring myself to open the B file here, lose time.
Oh my God, that is the only move
That secures.
that secures not the advantage, but the equality. Everything else was just like much worse for White.
Okay.
So he had to roll the dice. Wow.
Yeah, he had to get greedy. Sometimes you need to kind of play the critical moves. You need to at least test your opponent's ideas to see if they work. And Anish, I thought he'd bring the queen out, but instead he moves his knight. So there's tension now between the bishops. If we see a bishop exchange, then Black's queen would actually be ready to jump in, supported by the knight. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you guys. Too many open files towards the Black king. The rook can come in at some point. Sorry, towards the White king. It's just so vulnerable. Imagine the queen ending up on this diagonal as well. If the Black queen can somehow check, just give one check to the White king, it's game over. So already Arjun balancing on the edge, and Anish showing a side that we've wanted to see from him for a while.
Yeah.
Going on the attack. Even if he only needs a draw, he's playing on the front foot. He's good enough to do so, like Lawrence said earlier. And huge threats on the board, such as bringing the queen out, threatening checkmate on this square. White is the defender now. Arjun, will he regret that choice of castling on this flank? I'm not even sure what I would do, to be honest. It looks terrifying. Maybe you trade bishops, or I don't know whether you bring the knight to stop the Black queen coming over, but it looks so ugly.
Yeah.
Okay, he drops his bishop back.
Yeah, and he covers the threatened A2 pawn. Yeah, I agree with you. It's ugly. But, I mean, so far he's surviving, and Erigaisi is in survival mode, and if he can just hold on every single move, then, OK, it will be OK for him. Mm-hmm. As you can tell by the bar, which says 0.0. But if I were playing this game, I would be terrified. And how many moves in? 16 moves. I would be thinking, oh, my goodness me. I might lose in less than 20 moves.
I would be worried the bar would say like -5 for Black or something if I was in Arjun's shoes right now. I mean, the most obvious move to me would be bring the queen out. Again, some ideas against this pawn, but also some ideas of switching across and checking the White king on this vulnerable diagonal. Okay, Anish.
This is just my worst nightmare as White, having this position.
Defending.
Yeah, just all the open lines. But you still have to checkmate the guy. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. White is still alive. And has Anish got that attacking instinct in such a position? Of course he does.
Yeah. When he needs to, he's capable. But, OK, he's still got a decent amount of time as well. That's a good sign for all the Giri fans out there. It's just about whether Arjun can defend. And, OK, Giri not yet bringing his queen out. This is the move I'm expecting. Maybe there's others. Maybe you just reroute the knight. You have to at some point. It's just too loose over there. Maybe you improve the Black bishop somehow. You could just put it on a decent diagonal. You could maybe throw in an annoying move, hit the rook. Trying to spitball some ideas. I don't really see anything as tempting as this move, bringing the queen out. But, OK, Giri looking for options. Let's see what he comes up with.
Yep. He is fighting to qualify Anish, but with a draw, he's going to be ready. And but he will end up in 8th place with a draw, and he will then play Jan-Christoph Duda, playing some fantastic chess in this tournament in the quarterfinals. Duda is currently playing against Magnus, but he is definitely going to be on top of the table after the prelims. 28 points. That's a good score.
Very good.
Yeah.
We've seen Magnus amass, what is it, 30-something?
Yeah.
Low 30s, but anyway, I mean, anyone who wins the prelims has done very well. Duda bang in form.
Yeah.
And Duda's the type of streaky player as well. If he's on form, just like he showed earlier in the season, he can win anything.
Wow.
And, he can beat the best. So Duda and Mamedyarov, I feel, two most impressive players so far.
Yeah, yeah.
Tournament.
Mamedyarov, he has already finished in this round on 27 points, currently in 2nd place. Gukesh and Erigaisi, if they win in this round, can also be on 27 points. So now the whole calculation starts for who will play who in the quarterfinals. Magnus Carlsen is currently in 6th place, and the 6th place plays the 5th place, right. No, sorry. The third place, of course. So right now, it's Gukesh Carlsen. Right now.
There you go.
That would be a good quarterfinal.
I would love to see that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Half of India would be watching that clash.
Yeah, absolutely. And whilst the players are pondering their moves, it's an exciting, thrilling position. But I wanted to share with you a selfie from Female Nurse. So I was just going to ask you all before, what's the most exciting location that we've had people watch the show from?
I remember a boat.
A boat, yeah. We've had like mountains, desert. Well, Female Nurse is watching us from the zoo, along with the giraffes. Then she says, I just don't want to miss watching. Yeah, you've got to multitask in these days. You know, you've got to watch the chess and then go visit the animals.
Yeah.
And those are seriously cool giraffes. 3.
And remember to ask them for predictions. Isn't that always in the zoo? Prediction for who wins, like the World Cup or whatever.
So, Female Nurse, please send us the animals' predictions.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear them.
What was it? It was an octopus, wasn't it?
He was very accurate.
He was very accurate.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Paul
the octopus.
And was that for the World Cup?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember I was gunning for, I think he predicted England would lose, and we did. And then there was maybe Argentina losing, and we did, and Argentina did. And I was like, Paul.
Yeah.
It's not happy with you.
I had a good streak. Cool. Yeah. So check with the giraffes as well. Who will win the Aimchess Rapid?
And meanwhile, 5 minutes in the tank for Anish Giri. He spent 5 minutes, nearly half his time on this one move. And yes, he's doing some calculation. That's understandable. I'm not sure it's the most practical thing, though. It looks like there's some natural moves, and White will have a bunch of replies no matter what you play. So what is he thinking about? Just bring the black queen out. Retreat a knight, just whatever you choose. I mean, this is the type of thing I would do, and then I would live to regret it in 10 moves' time. Just kind of spend 5 minutes on one move, and then later I'm like, it's a really wild position. I need that time now. But, OK, what is Anish going to choose? Still thinking. Under 5 minutes now, and Arjun's going to be starting to get very confident. He's got an extra pawn, if he can cling onto it, as Ivanka mentioned. He's just going to win the game. So Anish needs to be fast, accurate, and practical. What's going on in his mind?
And he's closing his eyes, I think. Very focused, Anish.
Yeah, extremely focused. He must be calculating some long variation, but I'm not sure you need to right now. In a classical game, sure, spend 10 minutes here, but over 6 minutes, that's a very long think for rapid chess.
And you know what they say, long think, wrong think. What could he be calculating? I just don't see. Just improve a piece.
Yeah, maybe he wants to, I was about to say, push this pawn to get the black light squared bishop into the game with a check. There's a massive threat on the board.
This feels so...
The computer says it doesn't
unnecessary, yeah, just so unnecessary.
But it's either very good or it's very bad. That's the question. That's the problem with this move. And Ivanka, you're right. Long think, wrong think. Long thinks always seem to end up in mistakes. They don't trust their instincts. And, OK, he pushes this pawn forward. Clear idea of a check. That is why he's opened up his bishop. And how can White refute this idea? This threat is deadly if it's not dealt with. First of all, you could take this pawn with a queen. You can actually take it 4 different ways. You can take, for example, with the knight as well. And after a bishop check, you can think about blocking this check, maybe with a knight of your own, but this feels very shaky for White. I guess the most natural would be to take with the white queen, just to stop the bishop using the square. It's now covered. What's Anish's plan here?
Guess it's to carry on harassing the queen.
OK, you can attack it with a bishop, I guess. But then this knight is hanging.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what is his idea? This is the acid test of his move. Now he's 2 pawns down, his knight is attacked. You can take White's bishop off, but suddenly you open up the white rook and suddenly checkmating ideas against the black king. It's not one-way traffic anymore. I don't see it. Is his idea just to play really slow, maybe? Just push a pawn and reinstate this threat of a check? But it just feels so loose. You're gambling here. There's no guarantee that your opponent can't just find a way. For example, maybe this check isn't so effective. White could push a pawn, for example, and even if you get your dream world with a check, the white king can hide in the corner. Another check, yes, but the white king can hide again. maybe there's a follow-up, maybe there isn't, but Anish, 4 minutes, 2 pawns down in a moment. Who knows what's going to happen? I like the idea behind the move. I like the spirit behind it, attacking, but I mean, he's really gambling. And what's Anish doing? Let's go back to the players on the camera. He's making some kind of face. Is he smiling?
It almost looked like a smile. But is this basically just not very his style?
Yeah, it's not his style at all. And that's not to say it won't work. It does set significant practical problems for Erigaisi. Maybe in that variation that I was showing, maybe I've missed something there. But actually, I see another couple of ideas that were possible for black in that position. But OK, Erigaisi does take with the white knight.
Yeah.
But this is a great move, right? Because bishop f5, check, knight e4.
That's the block.
Yeah, and then you just solidify that knight with a
With
pawns.
f3, and 2 pawns are 2 pawns. And this can go very badly now for Anish very quickly.
Oh, his fate is out of his hands. What happens if Anish loses? Someone needs to maybe start calculating the other results.
Yeah, and interestingly, Anton, because I was looking, had a great position, and he's absolutely botched it. He was completely winning, David Anton. Positionally, he was crushing, and now Vidit in with a chance. So things are very much in the balance now. We've got a very, very tense few minutes ahead.
Ooh.
And it's very tense for Anish Giri. Down, low on the clock, 3 minutes, 2 pawns down, no follow-up. Arjun's just defended really nicely. He just took all the pawns. He's just refusing to believe the opponent. That's something we've mentioned in previous days. Don't necessarily trust your opponent on their moves. Sometimes you have to call them out and say, yeah, OK, I'll be greedy, prove yourself. And that's what Arjun's doing to Anish, and Anish is panicking. Those 2 white knights are holding everything together.
3 minutes left for Anish Giri, fighting for his life, not only in the game, but in the tournament. If he loses, then Vidit can take the place in the quarterfinals with a win. He still has to win that game, though. So Anish, it's not over if he loses this, but it's looking dangerous right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's unpredictable, right? The Vidit Anton game. And in Anish's mind, he's thinking, OK, worst case scenario, Vidit wins. This is the moment. This is where it all could go wrong.
And Vidit has just played a bomb of a move in his game. So, so now he's, in my opinion, big favourite to do something there.
A bomb in a good way? Like
a bomb in a good way, yeah. Great move. Great move.
Right. Yeah, do update us on that game as well.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Anish thinking, oops. He's probably thinking, I didn't need to do that. Yeah. That was a bit unnecessary.
It's tough for Anish now because he's trying to calculate, of course, but in the back of his mind, he's always thinking, oh, the tournament situation. Again, this was so unnecessary. Remember yesterday, taking those draws. It might not be enough now. And I'm trying to find a move. I can't see a good follow-up for him. Just 2 pawns down.
I mean, he just has to develop some pieces. You know, just throw a queen to the left side of the board, centralise. No, you can't even centralise a rook.
Yeah. Bring the queen out this way, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a bit random.
Eye up this pawn.
What else to do? OK.
F3.
Putting pressure on this knight. This pin is his kind of saving grace, his hope. But as you mentioned there, Lawrence F3, supporting the knight, defending easily. You're running out of ammo.
Yeah, OK, but, you know, you could carry on fighting. Yeah, so he puts his queen on a square. It's an open line. It looks active. Doesn't have any purpose behind it. I'm not claiming that much.
It's the type of move that looks good but doesn't do anything.
Nope.
And Arjun will start bringing this rook into the game at some point, maybe retreat this bishop at some point.
Yeah.
Black has no threats.
Absolutely no threats whatsoever. But, you know, still active pieces, and active pieces can cause problem. The next step would be perhaps relocating the knight, moving it to the d5 square.
For example, yeah. And now you have a massive threat if white is careless. Just to show a couple of pins, this would be a killer, knight check. The white knight can't take this piece because of a pin, the pin on this diagonal, and the white pawn can't take because of a pin. So still some tricks in the position. Yeah, you're right, Ivanka. We should always stay positive. If we were in Anish's shoes, yes, we're 2 pawns down, but we have to look for resources. And Arjun might be nervous as well because white's king is still more vulnerable than the black king. Oof, it's so tense.
This is super tense. One more game has finished. It's a loss in the final round for Abdusattorov against Vincent Keimer. So Vincent Keimer, he finishes off on 19 points. That is currently 1 point outside top 8. So close, but he's not going to play in the knockout stage. Abdusattorov, he is ready for the knockout stage, but it's been a tough finish for him to the preliminaries. Hasn't won too many games and lost quite a few. Lost the 2 final games today, Abdusattorov. And let's see who he's going to face in the knockout stage.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Arjun, very natural move, bringing the white rook into the game. And, OK, Anish Giri planting a knight in the centre, similar to what you were predicting, Jovanka.
Yeah.
Now, it's not clear whether that knight jump with a check is a threat, but the pieces are moving towards the white king.
And the next step is just to randomly push the a-pawn and see what damage it can do. I mean, it's very hopeful chess, but it doesn't matter. And you have to remember that Erigaisi, with 4 minutes on the clock, isn't going to be able to sit down and completely work out all the complications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Erigaisi, it's not 100% easy to just consolidate and simplify.
Can you just play a3 here, or is this just way too ridiculous?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was trying to make king a1 work. He plays bishop b3, which is also fairly... But
you want
a3...
to maybe go into the corner or attack this knight?
Like, a3, does it just win a piece?
Oh. Did you see the bar?
The bar's getting confused.
The bar's getting confused now.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lawrence. Maybe you're just attacking this knight, and this knight has to stay defending its other knight, and...
It looks scary because knight c3 check actually forces b takes c3, and then you've got knight d3 discovered check. But actually, after just some king a2, is it okay? But you can totally understand why Arjun didn't play it, and maybe bishop b3 is a better move, not objectively, but practical terms, yeah.
So he's blocked this b file.
Oh.
Wow, Anish Giri going on the attack. Rook into c3. Not sure what it threatens, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe taking this bishop. But just to show the idea, if pawn takes rook, then again, a family fork, a royal fork hitting the king, queen, rook, and due to a pin, the knight can't capture. Jovanka, you think there's a threat here?
Yeah, the rook takes bishop that you mentioned. That's a big threat.
For example, if white just plays a nothing move, then rook takes bishop. And you creep in via the a2 square. Checkmate coming.
The king is going to have to go exploring the centre, and no king wants to do that. I mean, how do you defend against this rook takes bishop?
Very good question. So this is the current position. Rook takes bishop, getting rid of white's best defender. Maybe that's the plan all along. Erigaisi just seems so calm, though. He's like, yep, you played a cool move. Dropped a bomb on my head. I don't care. I'm going to react. I'm not really sure how he's going to react.
Maybe he has to retreat a knight?
OK, maybe retreat the knight back to attack the black queen. And the black queen will move, I guess, somewhere. OK, he doesn't go for this. He goes the other way. He goes in with the white knight with a fork, but the knight... Suddenly, it's getting really complicated. The bishop could just take this knight. The whole idea is that white's knight is no longer pinned. White's knight would step back and win material.
And after
the idea?
Queen a5, exactly.
Yeah.
Still the idea of getting rid of... Oh, sorry, my arrows. Getting rid of this bishop. And coming in. OK, you're surprised, Lawrence. Bishop takes knight.
If queen takes d5, you can just go b takes c3 and you defend laterally.
Yeah, defend this pawn across the board. And wow, Giri... Carry on, Jovanka.
No, I was just going to say, look what Giri did. He just flicked in a little intermediate move.
Yeah, attacking the white queen. It's just chaos right now. White is currently 2 pawns and a piece up, but the queen is under fire, the bishop's under fire, the knight's under fire, and the white king not safe. So who can do the maths there? White is 5 points up on the board, but chaos. Just chaos.
Chaos, OK. Wow.
But it's definitely going in Anish's favour, these past few moves. I mean, fair play to him, because he found some fantastic resources. Rook c3 was a beautiful move. Rook c2 is a beautiful move. Now probably you have to play queen takes c2, because If you... What other moves? If you play queen f1, just queen takes d5?
Feels wrong if you run
yeah.
away with the white queen, leave that black rook alive.
And it actually looks like now Richard Report is losing in the final round to Gukesh, and if he does, and Anish wins this game, then Anish will actually take 7th. A lot can change in just a few moves here.
Yeah, and this is why we love seeing Anish kind of take risks, because he's capable, he's so good when he wants to be. And meanwhile, the standings.
Yeah. It is Vidit hoping Anish loses in this round and winning his own game to take that crucial 8th place. But if Anish plays a draw or wins this, he will take that final place.
Yeah, so anything could still happen. And the more I look at it, Lawrence, the more I think you're right. White has to give up a queen.
It's the only move I checked.
It's the only move. Maybe we can see the Stockfish suggestions, see what the difference is between the best move and all the rest. Arjun now down at 1.5 minutes, and wow, that's a massive difference.
Whoa.
If he doesn't take that black rook with the white queen, giving it up, he can almost resign, just losing. And, yeah, he doesn't have the prompt that we do, the evaluation bar, but process of elimination, it does look sensible. Is he going to find it, do you think?
With 1 minute left on the clock.
Even if you find it, I mean, the continuation is going to be tricky too.
I mean, there's so many pieces along that line where things get captured, and he does
play the best
find
move.
it.
Yeah, and now, okay, let's do a quick count. White has a rook, 2 knights, and 2 pawns for black's queen. Oh, who's good at maths? I need the calculator again. And
It's a lot of material.
it's a lot of material, but white's pieces are dropping off, and there goes 1 knight. So now it's a rook, knight, and 2 pawns for black's queen.
But now at least you
Roughly
get
level.
to consolidate slightly. Yeah, bishop b3, the knight comes to c3, cemento, as our good friend Peter Lecco would say, and
White's king runs away as well.
yeah, it's like rook e5 comes quickly. You know, things can happen here for white. You can be fine.
So after all this adventure, you think this is going to end up in a draw?
It could easily be a draw. It could easily be a draw, but with both of them on such short time, I think there's still 1 or 2 more surprises left.
Yeah, at least 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
It feels like. Okay, Anish attacks the white rook. Very logical. Let's ignore the evaluation bar unless there's a massive swing, because it's that type of position. It's so hard for a human to navigate right now. Material imbalances, when it's queen versus pieces, that's when accuracy just goes out the window. And Anish dropping back his queen.
Yeah, he's getting ready to perhaps push the a-pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White's king's got to run away at some point. It's too far out in the open.
Yeah.
What a position. What a game as well. I thought Arjun would just lock this down, just say, OK, I've qualified. He went all-out attack, and Anish has met fire with fire.
It's very cool. But what is the most likely result right now then? The bar is very much in the middle.
Who knows?
I don't think it will be a draw. I just can't see it being a draw somehow.
I can see all 3 results being possible. And, well, Erigaisi retreats the knight, trying to hold the position together. Oh, the bar did not like that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a natural move. What does Anish have?
Yeah, maybe there's something immediate, maybe not, but the black pieces are coming in. Black's rook can improve, black's bishop can give a check on the light squares. White king not entirely safe. You could even, OK, black's rook could, as Stockfish points out, just swing across, put pressure on that white knight. That might be the best move. It just feels to me that the momentum is always going to go in black's favour. As long as you don't trade off too many pieces, white's king is still a target.
10 seconds.
Oh, he does.
And he does build his position by improving the rook.
Yeah. Anish has played great, actually, since, well, I mean, the whole game, to be honest, since he was given a chance to attack.
We do have another result here. So Gukesh has won his game against Richard Report to gain all 3 points. So that means if Anish wins this game, he's actually going to take 7th place. And it also means Gukesh currently is in 2nd place. He goes past Mamedyarov. He did win their game here in the preliminaries.
Yeah. Shake up.
Tense moment.
Shake
Knight
up in the standings.
d5. OK.
OK, attacking the black queen. Where do you put her? Do you move her the whole way across? Maybe give a check? The white king's still on that diagonal. OK, no, bishop check first. And maybe you could even start threatening some checkmates. the white king vulnerable on the back rank.
It's very tempting.
Yeah, it's very tempting to take that white pawn in the center, but it doesn't work. There's a trap. Okay, the black queen runs away. Just to show maybe one cool trick that was that Arjun was setting for his opponent, he was trying to bait Anish into taking this pawn, trying to lure away the rook with a back rank checkmate. For example, rook takes queen would have ended in disaster, but you have to look for counter checks. And here we would have seen white give up a rook with a check, distracting black's rook, and now the queen is safe to take because this square is covered. You can't check because it's covered by the bishop.
And by the way, what's happened in the game looks like a fantastic result for Arjun. He's managed to get a bishop in a lovely outpost on c5. He's now got a passed d-pawn. He can win a pawn on b4 as well. This looks very, very good for Arjun.
And now the rook is on the 7th line.
Massive threat.
Oof.
Huge threat.
So many turns. It's turned again.
And let's not forget that white has a nice pawn in the centre. That isolated queen's pawn can be pushed.
Yeah.
And after bishop e6, a really nice move. What about rook e1 here? You can't take the bishop because of mate down the back, and then you're threatening even the move rook takes e6. Well, d5 might also be good.
Yeah. Kicking the bishop away, I think it is good.
Might also.
Versus 7 advantage for Erigaisi.
Yeah.
Pawn is coming. If you move the bishop, it's just racing down the board. Wow.
And Vidit has
And we have a win for Vidit against David Anton. That means Anish Giri, he has to get a draw in this game to have a chance to qualify. A loss, and he's out.
6 seconds. No, he's toast here.
Look at his face as well. He knows it.
He knows it. D7 is just curtains. Absolute heartbreak. And we've been saying the whole day, is he going to rue that early draw when you're slightly better and you can press against a much weaker opponent?
Giri resigns.
He's out.
It's
Gutting.
over. Wow, that went all the way down to the final moments. Anish Giri is knocked out of the Aimchess Rapid. Vidit takes the final spot